Ladies and gentlemen, oh, are we up? Are we up? I thought we were going to be up really high on the volume. Hey, how are you all? Good to see you in the chat. It's always messed up when we start the show. How is everyone? Danny Mitchell is here. DJ's here. Laurie made it. Who else made it? Beth B was here somewhere. Petunia is here. There's Beth B. Hey, Beth B. Good to see you. Sherry runs late. Sherry runs with a sore backside, apparently, because she fell over. Sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear you're feeling still quite. It's her right knee and ankle that is bruised. I hope that heals quickly for you. How is everyone out there other than Sherry falling over? Lux, good to see you, my friend. Siana Woos is here. Yep, another Maria. Emily Narb. Everyone is here. The whole world. We have a lot of stories to get to tonight. It seems like the whole world of true crime just happened today. It's like everything that happened, and we got a lot to talk about. So, first on the list, someone from the chat sent me in a Amber Alert. We're going to talk about that because anytime we can help with an Amber Alert, that is a good thing. Let me get set up and then we'll get going. We'll get going. Hey guys, how are you? Good to see you all. Hey everyone, we're out. We're here. What's going on with this? Hey, there we go. Hey, how's it going? Good to see everyone. We are here. And we have an Amber Alert. A Amber Alert issued for abducted 14-year-old girl. That's never a good thing. It says in Gonzales in Texas. I know I probably pronounced that wrong. DJ, you can tell me how many silent letters are in that word. It says an Amber Alert has been issued for a missing 14-year-old girl from Gonzales. Officials are looking for 14-year-old Scarlett Smith. She was last seen wearing a red Nike hoodie. Here's a photo of Scarlett Smith right there, abducted child, and this is the suspect. His name is Barry. Of course, his name is Barry. His name is Barry Van Mersbergen. There you go. I'm probably saying that wrong, but there's a photo of him. That's who they're looking for. And this is the vehicle they're looking for. It is a GMC Terrain 2012 model in a brown paint job. License plate out of the state of Texas. License plate number 3RVWG. So they're saying this is a stock photo, but it sort of looks like this. It says vehicle has a handicap license plate. So that might help in identifying it. That's a pretty unique sort of feature. I mean, there's a few of them around, but sort of makes this one identifiable. And so there you go. They said the official said the suspect is 22-year-old Barry. A suspect vehicle was described as a tan or brown 2012 GMC Terrain with the license plate we read out before, which is 3RVWG. They said if anyone knows the whereabouts of either of these people, call 911 immediately. So they are really wanting to find out where Scarlett is. She's only 14 years old. It is far too young to be caught up in an Amber Alert. I mean, we see these every day. It's horrible. Let's hope she gets home safely. I'm going to just do some Google foo and try to see if I can find anything else about. Oh, my phone was telling me that we're live. Thanks, phone. It says here. The local TV station has maybe a little bit more information. Let's have a look. There's a little video. Let's listen to what they say.
Breaking news just into our newsroom now at 5. An Amber Alert has been issued for a 14-year-old girl who was last seen in Gonzales. That's 80 miles east of San Antonio. Investigators believe Scarlett Smith may have been abducted. They're looking for a 22-year-old man, Barry Van Mersbergen, who also goes by Ben. Scarlett was last seen wearing a red Nike hoodie. Investigators believe the suspect is driving a tan 2012 GMC Terrain with the Texas license plate number 3RVWG. If you know where they are, call police right away.
There you go. Basically what I just said before, but they don't have anything about like what they're relationship is or anything like that. It says, according to the Texas Department of Public Safety, Scarlett Smith was last seen wearing the red Nike hoodie. She disappeared from the 100, the 15, I'm going to say 15700 block of West US Highway 90. Someone's going to have to tell me how to say those really long numbered streets, because we don't have numbers up into the hundreds of thousands or 15,000 in Australia. But she was last seen in that block of the West US Highway 90 at 11 p.m. 11 p.m. on Monday. She stands 5'4", weighs around 187 pounds, and has red hair with hazel eyes. Police said the suspect is Barry. Yeah, Barry is believed to be driving that tan thing. There's not much any. He may also go by the name of Ben. That's a weird tidbit. This San Gonzalez is about an hour east of San Antonio. Anyone with information is asked to call 911. Really nothing else. No, what their relationship was. Was he grooming her? Was he some sort of relative, a carer, something? Just says that they suspect they're with one another. It just says she was abducted. Let me try find something else. Is there anything else we can find about Scarlett? What about KSAT? Let's have a look on this one for you. They just say they're looking for that Barry guy in connection with the teen's abduction. Officials believe the child could be in grave or immediate danger. This one gives a different phone number. This one gives a phone number for the Gonzales County Sheriff's Office at 830-672-6524. Yeah, but again, just the same information. Not how she was abducted, not anything. But it sounds like, 11 p.m. at night is quite late for a 14-year-old girl, right? And it's not spring break right now, so it's a school night, correct? It's a late January. They'd be back at school, so it'd be a school night. I don't know. Hey, Moonlightview, how are you? I hate mornings. He says, I'm having my dinner watching on my TV. Hey, good to see you. I hope your dinner tastes pretty good. Let's see if you guys know anything else about this in the chat. It says abducted. It says he is wanted in the connection with her abduction. And in the title here, it says abduction suspect. So we have to go with what the Amber Alert says. And the Amber Alert says she's been abducted. So we just don't know the details of how that happened or how that took place. It just doesn't say. Danny Mitchell says she's a big girl. I hope she whoops him. Maybe. Maybe she'll beat him up and get released. That would be nice. Anything to bring her home to her family. That's the number one goal. Spread the word, get them home, find the suspect. That's the order of this. All right. There's your Amber Alert. If anyone knows anything, you're from that area. We have people from Texas in the chat and the replay crew. Call it in. Help out. Let me get to our other story for tonight. There's some weird stories tonight. It's almost like one of those days where everything is weird. I'm going to show you something I never thought I'd see in my life. But now I'm going to show... It's a little weird, okay? And I was like, I know there's so many people who love animals in this chat. I was like, I have to just show you this. There is a Indiana police officer who rescued circus animals from a burning truck along I-69. Sorry, I don't mean to laugh. It's just, it sounds hilarious, but it's not. Here, I'm going to show you. I'm going to go to Fox News, and I'm going to show you this video. It already looks wild. Like you can see the sort of stop frame here. I'll show you.
All right. You probably need more help with the zebras than I do. So what are we doing? getting the animals out. Still a couple more in there.
Just stop for a second. Is that the first thing you would ask? Like, roll up on this place, there's a truck on fire, there's a zebra and whatever else they've got, and they're like, so, what are we doing here? It's almost like it's so casual. It's very, very good under fire.
Come on, Rambo. Rambo. Hey, Porky. All right. Go, go, go. All right, y'all need to come on now. Go ahead. Come on, let's go. Come on. Everybody get back. Is that it? Yes. Yep.
So I almost thought I heard an elephant there, but I don't know if that's what it was or it was just some sort of the fire making something squeal. But it sounded like an elephant or something. We're learning about how to get zebras out of a burning truck, apparently. The poor zebra, did you see the zebras that jumped out? They can zebras not jump? Is that something they can't do? Because when they were trying to get, I'm sure they were scared and they didn't want to, for some reason, didn't want to leave the fire. But they landed on their butts. Like when they jumped, they didn't land on their feet. They landed on their backside. And I was like, oh, I hope it didn't like hurt its leg or something. Because you could see it didn't land properly on all four hoofs or whatever they're called. It sort of just like landed on its legs, like side of its legs. And I was really worried about the zebras. But probably one of the craziest videos I've seen, and I'm sure that police officer has a story to tell after that. He's probably like, so I rolled up to this job and there was like 10 zebras, camels, ponies. I don't know what else they had there. We can tell you. Hold on. It says body cam footage has captured officers in Indiana pulling zebras and other circus animals out of a semi-truck that caught on fire along Interstate 69. Someone has to high five someone in the chat. The bizarre scene happened around 2 a.m. Saturday along a stretch of highway in Grant County between Indianapolis and Fort Wayne. The Grant County Sheriff's Office says one of its troopers was patrolling the area when they observed the cab of a 2012 Volvo and trailer was engulfed in flames. Wow, it's a good officer, right? Trooper Edward Titus, Deputy Joshua Kennedy, and a member of the Shine Circus rescued 5 zebras, 4 camels, and a miniature horse. Noting that the 57-year-old driver from Florida had safely exited the vehicle at the time. Additional officers on the scene were able to secure all the animals until other trucks from the Shrine Circus arrived. Video taken from the body cam of a sergeant that showed up on the scene begins by showing numerous zebras and a camel standing near the shoulder of I-69. Yeah, it's probably one of the craziest, like, look, there he goes. Go, zebra, go, jump. But he sort of jumped, but then landed on his butt. I don't know, maybe zebras can't jump very far? I don't know. It says, as officers approach the burning truck, a commotion can be heard as another officer is trying to pull a zebra from inside. He says, come on, boy. A voice yells before the zebra leaps off the truck and down a ramp. Another zebra is then pulled from the back of the truck. Come on, let's go. Come on, everyone get back, is what the quote says. There you go. Look at this. There's the zebras. Look, they look fake. They look like someone painted some sort of like statues at the side of the highway, don't they? They don't even look real. Like that looks like some sort of photoshopped image or something. It just looks so out of place. Yeah. Drivers going past here would have been like, what the hell happened here? Oh, poor zebras. I didn't even know you could have zebras in America, but I do know that you have a lot of private zoos and circuses around the different states. So, poor zebras. I hope they're okay. I hope they didn't hurt themselves jumping from the truck. It says the animals were blocked from roaming about the highway with makeshift barricades. All northbound lanes on I-69 were shut down until around 6:30 a.m. local time. The animals were being brought from Florida to perform at a series of shows in Fort Wayne. According to the Associated Press, a second truck later arrived to pick up the animals. Multiple law enforcement agencies participated in the rescue. Here's a police officer with, like, you know, four ladies of the night. No, I'm just kidding. There's 4 camels there. They are not ladies of the night. I'm just joking. Yeah, he looks shocked. He's like, this is not what I expected when I logged on for today's shift at work. So not really a crime. I just thought everyone loves animals in this chat. I thought I would show you. Emily Nubb says, beautiful animals. They are. Sherry Runs Late says, I have to drive I-69 anytime I go to Indianapolis. Yeah. Hey, Sherry. Good to see you. Really? Peru, Indiana is the circus capital of the US. I had no idea. I know Ohio has a bunch of loose laws, right? Because we had that private guy that he had a bunch of animals and then he killed himself and let all the animals out. Well, he let the animals out before he killed himself, but then they were roaming all over the place. And then Jack Hanna came and said how sad it was, and a whole bunch of. They made a documentary about that too. Very good documentary. There we go. Yes, if Kathy wants to be late, she has to borrow Sherry's name. There you go. There is your little fun story for tonight before we get on to the more serious crimes from today. Let's get to this one. Let me bring up the link. If I can find it. It's always a hunting game. Here. This is the story. Come on, load for me. It says, a Florida woman. It doesn't, but she is from Florida. It says, a naked woman in convenience store rampage. It says, police perp was found pleasuring herself inside a racetrack. I think racetrack the store, not an actual racetrack. It says, a naked woman wielding a sharp-edged vegetable peeler threatened convenience store workers, destroyed a Red Bull display, and masturbated in front of sheriff deputies before being taken into custody last night on a variety of criminal charges. Investigators allege that Celia Barrett, 35, caused a drunken disturbance Sunday evening at a racetrack in St. Petersburg in Florida. Upon arriving sans clothing at the store, Barrett began yelling about being trespassed from the business the prior day. On Saturday, police warned her that she would be subject to arrest if she returned to the racetrack store. As detailed in a series of criminal complaints after Barrett, peeler in hand, showed up at the store around 6:40 p.m. She threatened 2 workers, one of whom told police that Barrett said she would kill him. Barrett, seen above, proceeded to topple and break a display of Red Bull energy drinks and spill cigarettes from a carton she tore open. When officers arrived at the store, Barrett was still inside and naked. Prior to being taken into custody, she began masturbating in front of deputies. Barrett reportedly admitted to being intoxicated and said she had consumed 6 shots of liquor. Charged with aggravated assault, disorderly intoxication, trespass, criminal mischief, and exposure of sexual organs. Barrett is being held in the county jail. Her extensive rap sheet includes convictions for battery, prostitution, criminal mischief, and narcotics possession. There you go. That was one of the weirdest stories I came across today in my Googling around the internet for crime stories. And I was like, oh my God, it just had to happen in Florida, didn't it? It couldn't happen in any other state. It had to be Florida. Flying DJ says, Ping, you have her phone number. Just asking for a friend. You should contact the racetrack store in St. Petersburg in Florida. I'm guessing they are well acquainted. Wu says, I wonder how police would have arrested her. Probably threw something on her like a blanket and then wrapped her up. That's what I'm guessing. That's what I'm guessing happened. That's how they normally do it if someone is naked. Jail and registry. Yeah, it's a weird story. Emily Narb says to act like that, think drugs play a part. Well, she did have 6 shots of liquor as well. Kathy Lynch says, I have family members that left Florida because of naked people in racetrack stores. It's a reason to leave. Lux is like, ugh. Yep, another Maria says, wow, next level. I hope she is okay. Hopefully she'll get the help she needs while in the prison. Let's see. Let's have a look. I want to check something out about her. What's her name? What's her full name? Celia Barrett, 35. Let me see if I can find anything else about her. I still think it's interesting that she had a vegetable peeler. She's very lucky she didn't do her sexual act with the vegetable peeler. She might have been missing some lady parts by the end. It says, naked Florida woman accused of unhinged rampage with vegetable peeler. You can't make this stuff up, people. Not even your best comedic nightmare. You couldn't make this up. It says here, a naked Florida woman has been arrested after police say she drunkenly threatened convenience store workers with a vegetable peeler, and then she did that sexual act in front of law enforcement officers. Celia Barrett, 35, was taken into custody on Sunday following the incident. Anything else? I don't see anything here about drug charges, except she had been done with drug charges in the past, but not this time. But doesn't mean she didn't take some before going there, or she wasn't on a bender or something. But I don't see any for this particular arrest. It just says aggravated assault, disorderly intoxication, trespass, criminal mischief, exposure of sexual organs. It's a weird charge. It's not like you get done for indecent exposure or something like that. They do you for exposure of sexual organs. And she's currently being held in the county jail. So we will see. There is a photo of Celia from Pinellas County Sheriff's Office. There you go, Pinellas. Seems like everything happens in Pinellas or Polk County, Polk or Pinellas. It's one or the other. There's always stuff going on in that those two counties. Yeah, Kathy Lynch says the vegetable peeler and the act do not seem to go together. Not at all. Not at all. Luckily we did not hear that she needed any surgery. So she wanted to peel the male officer's carrot, or as Trish would say, pineapple. She was going to get some peeled pineapple. All right. There you go. There's your wacky crime story of the week. Kathleen says, I do feel sorry for her. She needs help. I don't think any woman who is in a good mental state would do any of those things. I just, you know, I think she must be having a hard time or something. I Hate Morning says, here they put on gloves, capturing, then wrapping them. I've only seen this twice. It's not illegal to be naked in Seattle streets if it's not subjective. Really? So you can just walk around nude. So if you just as long as you weren't doing anything like sexualized. So if you're just walking down the street like with a backpack and you're just like, I'm just going to work, they'd be like, good day, ma'am, and just keep walking. Emily Nob says, I feel bad for laughing, but it's so cray. It is a little cray. It is a little cray. Let me just check. I wanted to see if I can do a background check on her. Hold on. Just trying to see if she had any past arrests, like on newspapers or anything. I don't see anything. Oh, there's a better photo of her here. Oh, stop doing that. There's a different photo of her. I don't know if that's when she was arrested this time, but she looks a little different compared to the other photo. Celia Jude Barrett was charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault, disorderly intoxication, and that exposure charge. So it says she does have a long criminal history. Apparently, she began yelling obscenities at staff after entering the store. It was said she was holding a sharp-edged peeler corer. What is a peeler corer? Is that like an apple corer? Let's see what that is. Have no idea. When I Google it, it shows like one of those apple corer things but I can't believe she'd be holding that. It's huge. No, I don't see it. I guess they just mean like one of those old school peelers that have the sharp bit on the end, like the pointy bit. Yeah. Hey, stop doing that. There we go. It says one victim, apparently a cashier, said Barrett did not request money, but did threaten to do violence. The defendant then began banging the peeler on the counter as she was yelling obscenities at the victim. The victim advised she could not make out what the defendant was saying as she was yelling, but she was in fear that she would cut or stab the victim. The general manager also walked in where the defendant turned and began threatening the manager with the knife. It says Barrett threw a Red Bull display carrying approximately 50 Red Bulls. The metal Red Bull display broke and a lot of Red Bulls spilled on the floor. That's okay. We'll call Red Bull, we'll get a victim's advocate, and, the Red Bulls will be okay dealing with their loss. I'm sure they'll be fine. It says the defendant also opened a cigarette carton and began spilling cigarettes on the counter. I don't know why. Maybe she has a thing against tobacco. It says it wasn't Barrett's first time there. Authorities said in late November she was warned that if she returned, she would be subject to arrest. So it seems like whenever she has a bit of a mental break, for some reason she's attracted to that particular store for some reason. Maybe it's open, quite late, or maybe because of her previous dealing, she's drawn to it for some reason. Says the victim stated the defendant yelled that she was going to kill him, then lowered the weapon and walked away. It says, then she did that sexual act. Okay. All right. No more Miss Celia. Thanks, Miss Celia, for your story. I hope you get better. That would be good. Sherry Ronsley says, I think drugged offenders should be made to watch themselves on body cams. It's probably a good wake-up call for a lot of them, but when they're sober, not when they're still high. Yeah, they seem to have some sort of past history with her. Emily Nob says potato one has a Cora too. Yeah, like that little triangle-y thing on the top. That's sort of what I was thinking, but hey, Red Like Wine. Okay. Hey, good to see you. Kathy Lynch says when she sobers up, she's going to be so humiliated. I know. She's probably not going to want to read this in the paper. I Hate Morning says, exactly, we have a naked parade on the summer solstice weekend. Most wear body paint. Oh, Seattle is wild. Show Runs Late said the weather in Seattle with the rain would not be ideal Nike weather. No. Reby says, I have a feeling it's not just those two counties. It's just that the sheriff in these two counties overshare all their arrests. They do like some publicity, Pinellas and Polk County, don't they? All right. What, right now? Did it happen right now? I know that there was supposed to be some sort of retaliation and they were sort of waiting. Hold on. Let me check. I know they're readying an attack, but I didn't hear it whether it actually happened. I know I watched Steve on Agenda Free TV like an hour or two ago, and he was saying that, everyone's on high alert because it's going to happen in a minute. I'll keep an eye out. I'll put it on. Hold on. I'll put this in my Twitter alerts, and if something pops up, then we can talk about it. But we're going to keep going with the crime stories for now. I can't see anything that says they've launched an attack, but yeah, I can't see anything right now, Danny. I know they are readying an attack, but just hasn't happened yet. All right, let's keep going. Where is our... I don't know, I know we've been following the Kansas City Chiefs fans who were found frozen to death. Apparently, the brother was on News Nation, and the brother said that one of them, or his relative, was found sitting in a chair, like sitting up. And they think that is very strange. Give me 1 second, people. I need a drink. Hold on. There we go. Reeve says, did you hear they nabbed one of the ringleaders of the tobacco wars in Melbourne? I did not. Hold on. Have a look quickly. Says, police arrest ringleader they alleged ordered 6 Melbourne fire bombings. That was in The Age this morning, apparently. Let me see. It says anti-gang detectives have arrested a man they alleged is responsible for commissioning and directing a series of fires targeting the restaurants and tobacco stores of opposing syndicates locked in a violent war over Melbourne's illicit tobacco trade. The 25-year-old from Epping was taken into custody by detectives from the Luna and Viper Task Force in Bundoora just after 3 p.m. on Tuesday. Police said he would now be interviewed. No charges have been laid. Police allege the man who has been arrested is linked to an insurgent faction in Melbourne's underworld being run by a ruthless new kingpin who has plunged the city into a fresh war. That kingpin, 39-year-old career criminal Kazim Kaz Hamad, was not named by police during a press conference announcing the arrest of the Epping man on Tuesday afternoon. Police sources have previously told The Age that Hamad had been running his tobacco empire from overseas and directing fire bombings locally. Very shortly after the task force was established, we commenced an investigation into a 25-year-old man from Epping, who police believe is one of the significant ringleaders on behalf of a Middle Eastern organized crime group. It says, Detective Inspector Graham Banks claimed the Epping man has direct contact with the person who is directing all the harm from overseas and is then coordinating that harm in Victoria. He said the people torching various businesses were at the bottom end of the criminal chain and alleged that the Epping man had direct contact with the head of the syndicate. They also said, we're very much aware that many of the people who are committing the arsons are very much the bottom of the chain. Banks said the arrest would not dismantle the syndicate, which was now operating from overseas. Let's see what the Age says here.
So very shortly after the task force was established, we commenced an investigation into a 25-year-old man from Epping, who police believe is one of the significant ringleaders on behalf of a serious organised crime, a Middle Eastern organised crime group. The head of this group is overseas and has directed much of the harm that has been part of this landscape for several months. This individual who police currently have in custody is going to be spoken to in relation to a series of incidents of serious concern, and currently police are searching for premises associated to them. He's been arrested specifically today in relation to 6 arsons. Now, the first of these arsons occurred at a Williamstown North smash repair business back on the 5th of October of last year. Shortly thereafter, there was a further arson at Glenroy Vapes and Tobacco on the 9th of October. 2 further fires were committed on a Docklands restaurant days apart, the first on the 18th of November and the second on the 20th of November. This was followed by an arson at a reception premises on the 8th of December, which is known as Melrose Receptions. Now, I'm naming this reception place specifically because this was not involved in any way, shape or form in the ongoing conflict. This was targeted really only to cause annoyance to an opposing group who had booked the venue. So the proprietors of this establishment had no idea that they were going to be subject to an arson and had nothing to do whatsoever with the current conflict. And then finally, a fire on the same night at a Docklands restaurant was committed. So, as I say, a 25-year-old male is in custody. We will allege that he is a ringleader and director of these crimes. He's expected to be charged later today with a number of those offences.
Okay, so people who were not following along, this arrest is in relation to the city where I live has had tobacco stores down here and other businesses set on fire for intimidation and turf wars from a syndicate who is operating overseas but directing attacks locally here in Australia to try and gain sort of like turf or market share in the illicit tobacco trade in Victoria, which is a multi-million billion-dollar enterprise for criminals. And now with the vape legislation and vape ban coming up in the 1st of March, that will only explode further and more violence is expected as legitimate stores are forced to close and more people are forced to go through the black market to get vaping products as well as black market tobacco. So them doing this one arrest is a drop in the bucket of what will happen over the next maybe year or two. So they're sort of trying to get on top of it, but they're not doing that good of a job. Tobacco is extremely expensive here. A pack of cigarettes in Australia is about $60. That's not a mistake. It's 60 per pack of cigarettes. So, and now with the vaping ban happening on the 1st of March, it's just going to go bonkers, absolutely bonkers with illicit vaping and now and traditional tobacco products. So this has been going on in Melbourne for about 5 months now. Every couple of nights, some other tobacco store gets bombed and set on fire, and they're trying to put a stop to it. Sherry Runslate said, I wouldn't purchase a pack of cigarettes if I absolutely had to. They are expensive and I'm glad I've never smoked. Yes, $60 a pack. That's not a mistake, that's real. The government's reasoning is that if they make it more expensive, people will stop smoking. But that's not what happens. What happens is people continue to smoke, buy as much of it as they can with the money they have, and take money from their children's stuff. Like, people of low socioeconomic, lives will continue to smoke, and then their children get less, or they get less, their health gets less, and it's a very silly um, you know, way of doing it. And all it does is put money in the government's pocket, because the way it works is it's a tax. So that extra money on the base price of the cigarette goes to the government directly. So say the pack actually cost about $15 normally, the other $45 goes directly in the pocket of the government. So that's why they're banning vaping, is because they don't make any tax off vaping. So they want to ban it and then push everyone back to cigarettes. And then you have underworld tobacco that comes in the country, and they sell it under the counter because it's so expensive here. And they're basically causing themselves way more problems. Laurie says, I could quit if I had to pay that much. I don't have the willpower to quit. And that's the issue. It's very hard to quit for people. Wu says, and the unemployed buying cigarettes then complain they don't get enough money from the unemployment benefits. Right, but I reckon the tax the government makes every year off cigarettes in Australia probably pays for at least 50% of the unemployment benefits nationwide. It makes that much money for the government. That much. It makes so much money to the budget. Anyway, we don't do politics here. I just wanted to explain what this press conference was about. They're trying to shut down whoever is firebombing these businesses. The businesses they're firebombing, some of them are legitimate and real businesses. They're not part of the underworld. The people who are part of the underworld want the stores. They want those locations, and they're doing this when they resist the takeover. Shock says, how much is Nicorette gum over there? Very cheap. Maybe like $10, $15. Very cheap. Non-critical thinking. Hey, LA, how are you? It's unhealthy and yeah, I agree. I don't smoke, so yeah, it's a really big problem down here. And like every 2 days we'd wake up and see like another place has been bombed, another place has been firebombed. Been happening for months. Yeah. I don't think this government has the correct way of dealing with it. They just like to ban everything for I don't know why. They don't want to look at any other kind of like ways of doing it, like in England or New Zealand, anything like that. Nope, not interested. They just ban stuff. All right. Let's talk about a soap star. You know what a soap star is? I don't. What is that? Let's go to our friends at the Daily Mail. It says driver injured by Hayley Poulos, I hope that's her name, sues lounge where General Hospital star was moonlighting for letting her get behind the wheel after drinking with her boss the night of the near fatal crash. Hayley Poulos, 25, was charged with a DUI following a crash in April, which cops said happened while she was driving the wrong way on the Pasadena freeway. Cops found mini bottles of tequila in the soap actress's car. She was reportedly also high on marijuana. The driver said she crashed. The driver she crashed into is now suing the No Comment Lounge, where Hayley worked as a hostess, for allegedly plying her with booze and then letting her drive. The popular restaurant and nightclub near Los Angeles has been dragged into the lawsuit against General Hospital star Hayley Poulos over a near-fatal car crash she was involved in while allegedly drunk and high on drugs. The driver seriously hurt in the accident, Courtney Wilder, is also now suing the No Comment Lounge in Pasadena, claiming the 25-year-old actress was working there as a hostess the night of the pileup. Wilder is accusing the upscale lounge of plying the actress with booze and then letting her drive herself home. Poulos, who is also facing felony DUI and hit and run charges in criminal court, was encouraged by the owner of the No Comment Lounge to drink with the party she was hosting, uh, said Wilder's attorneys in new court documents obtained by dailymail.com. There's a photo of the actress there. I don't recognize her, but I don't watch any soapies, as they call them. There's a photo of the lounge where she was moonlighting as a hostess, probably between acting jobs. It says, she did exactly that. On the night of the incident, she even drank with the owner-manager of the No Comment Lounge. Despite this instruction from her manager and owner of the No Comment Lounge, there was no plan provided to safely get her home. It was only to increase profits. The No Comment Lounge put money making above the safety of the general public, and Courtney Wilder paid the price for this profit grab. Photos of the owner of the No Comment Lounge and Haley drinking alcohol on the night of the incident exist. The new court papers added that the nightclub could easily have provided an Uber or taxi for her. Instead, they saved money and allowed her to drive away, intoxicated, from her shift. Wilder, 23, is also suing the State of California Transportation Department, claiming the road where the accident happened is in dangerous condition, is seeking cash damages from Poulos and the No Comment Lounge for negligence. Wow. I don't know, what do you guys think? You think it's a duty of care of her workplace to get her home safely if they are providing alcohol while on the job? I think so. I think it would have to come under your standard operating procedure so you don't get sued, so this doesn't happen, so your workers don't end up killing someone and then you get brought into a friggin' lawsuit for hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of dollars in damages. At least that's my opinion. Let's see what you guys have to say. Diane Marie says bars can be held liable in California, plus lose their liquor license. That's very interesting. Sienna says, I used to watch Days of Our Lives and my mum watched General Hospital. Have not watched in years. Apparently so, Shock. They're too cheap to pay for an Uber. Apparently so. LA says, yes, hold responsible, liable, yes. Marilanda says, watched All My Children and One Life to Live. I don't know either of those shows. Is Leisha here? Is she here? I didn't see her. Where is she? Oh, there she is. Hey, Leisha. Oh, where is she? There. Hey, Leisha. She says, missed last night because I went to dinner with a friend, Mel, and then Chardonnay and sang karaoke. Hairspray, purple lipstick, blue face glitter, big rocker chick hair, sequin cowboy hats. You sound like you were going back to your rave. If you just didn't tell me that was a karaoke night, I would have said you were going to a big rave. You just need some glow sticks and you would have been fine. Oh, is that who you met up with? You met up with Moonlight View? That would have been a lot of fun. Cheetah No More says, often companies are so cheap, they can do so much to deter bad things from happening for their employees and customers. That is true. Should be part of their risk assessment. Oh, those soaps are no longer on TV. Okay. Diane Marie says, I managed a resort and our bartender was drinking and crashed and died on her way home. We didn't get sued, but it was a horrible loss. Wasn't there a woman who was drinking and she ended up crashing into a toll booth like 15 years ago and her images of her death ended up going viral. It was like one of the very first viral photos on the internet. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? There was this girl, and she was um an alcoholic, I think, and she might have had some drugs in her system too. And she ended up crashing into a toll booth, and her dead body was plastered all over the internet at one point. DJ says a dram shop rule, dram shop law, or dram shop act is a civil liability statute that renders a dram shop liable for the harmful acts of its intoxicated customers when the establishment acts negligent in the serving of intoxicated customers alcohol, and the customer then causes harm as a result of his or her intoxication. Ah, interesting. Let's see. Yeah, we have something similar in Australia. It's called, can't remember, but we have a thing here that bars and waitresses and whoever's serving can be held liable if you overserve someone. So you have to go through training in Australia before you can serve alcohol. It's called the Responsible Service of Alcohol. It's called RSA, and you have to do that. Let's see. I think I missed someone up here. It says, Ping, do you not remember this story from a few months back? I shared it when it happened. I'm sure it was you. Buddy, I see so many stories every single day. Sometimes I can't remember what we read about last week. We read hundreds of stories a month. It gets hard to remember sometimes. Right, I think that's the same 1 mile in Clawson. A young girl took her dad's sports car. I just can't remember her name, but it was a big deal at the time. I can't remember what she was called. Her name was Nikki Katsuras. Is that her name? Katsuras? There was it. I'll show you this. Nikki Katsuras photography controversy. Nikki, she died October 31st, 2006. Died at the age of 18 in a high-speed car crash in Lake Forest, California, after losing control of her father's Porsche 911 Carrera and colliding with a toll booth. Photographs of Nikki's badly disfigured body were published on the internet, leading her family to take legal action for the distress this caused. Yeah, the photos were brutal. I think I remember seeing them at one point. They basically show her lying there with no skull, basically, and her face severely disfigured. Let's see. Petunia says, I used to watch Anne Hesh when she was on Another World. We all know what happened to her. Horrible. Cheetah No More, I hope your husband. Hey, I want to say hello to both you, and I hope you're both doing well. Cheetah No More and Mr. Cheetah No More, hope you're both doing well. I know you both listen to the show. So, hello to Mr. Cheetah No More. Hope you're doing well out there, my friend. Diane Marie says, our neighbor was on Days of Our Lives as a child. He was killed in the Tower of 9/11. Miss him so much. That's terrible. You know, there's a new big documentary of 9/11 coming out next week. Not next week. This year for the anniversary. It's a retrospective of the last 20 years or 25 years or whatever. And I think it's going to be really well done. It's being done by Discovery Channel, Nat Geo, one of those documentary type channels. I just can't remember which one, but they're doing another retrospective about the lives of the people who were in the towers that perished. And I think that'll be one, really emotional, two, very interesting at the same time. But if you never saw the one that was called, they released the one on the 20th anniversary from Nat Geo, and they interviewed people who escaped from the towers and people who escaped from different places where the planes hit or the buildings fell. And some of the stories of survival are just things you couldn't even dream up in an action movie. I'm serious. Like, one guy was like, a plane crashed into above my office. It bent the building so bad that I couldn't open my office door to get into the stairwell to escape. And he was basically sitting there and he could feel it getting hotter and hotter as the jet fuel burnt above him and basically was cooking him in an oven until a guy came, heard his screams, kicked in the door, and basically grabbed him and threw him down the stairs and said, "Run." And those two guys are still friends to this day. They're still buddies. They still see each other all the time and um, relive, their shared trauma from the day. But there was like 40 different stories like that in that documentary. One of the greatest documentaries I've ever seen. Really was. Really, really emotional. You'd be in tears at the end through some of the stories they told. Marilenda says, I was up in the Twin Tower at a restaurant in 1977. I never went there, although I did go to that city, New York, but I never went to the tower. All right. Let's get you a new story. Yeah, we'll see what happens with this lawsuit. We'll see if she's successful. I believe she will be. I think she has a great case, and I just don't see how they can get out of the liability. All right. What's going on today in Kansas City? Let's go. SAPD identifies suspect found covered in blood, acting erratically after wife's death. Carlos Portillo, 44, has been charged with murder. San Antonio Police Department identified a man accused of fatally shooting his wife on Monday morning at an apartment complex on the northwest side. Carlos Portillo, 44, has been charged with murder. San Antonio police said they responded to the scene around 7 a.m. in the 6100 block of Vance Jackson Road and found the man covered in blood and acting erratically and screaming. The suspect told police the blood belonged to his wife, who was found dead in an apartment. According to Sergeant Stephen Bratina, the woman, 51, suffered at least one gunshot wound. She has not been identified as of Tuesday morning. Police also found a gun in the area which they believe could be the weapon used in the woman's death. Homicide investigators were seen going door to door trying to find someone who might have information about what happened. The motive for the shooting is unknown at this time. Portillo was charged with drug possession. Records show he faced multiple charges for drug possession and vehicle burglary in Exar County. I hope I'm getting that right. No, it's Bayer County. No X, it's a Y, right? Bayer County from 1998 to 2017. So there you go. He was found acting erratically and screaming while covered in his wife's blood on the northwest side of San Antonio. Let's see if I have a photo of this fella. There's a photo of him. There he is. Carlos Portillo, 44, as seen in a 2017 mugshot from a prior arrest. Charming man. Very charming. Looks like he could be, a prince of England. You can see it. Hold on. What is going on here? There was supposed to be a video that we could have watched about it, and it's not doing it. Silly thing. All right. Says here, when he was asked whose blood was on him, Portillo said it belonged to his wife, who was shot inside their apartment. Police found the woman inside the apartment unresponsive with an apparent gunshot wound. She was pronounced dead at the scene. Officers weren't sure what time she was shot. Bayer County court records showed several past charges for Portillo dating back to 1998, including evading arrest, assault causing bodily injury, burglary of a vehicle, and felony possession of a firearm. All right. Let's see if we can find something else about him. Where are you, Mr. Carlos Portillo? Oh, we late? Oh no. Geez, that scared me. I saw a thing pop up on my phone saying Trish was live, but it's not she's live. It's just their 30-minute reminder. I had a heart attack. I thought we went to 2:30 already. Why is this not working? Give me 1 second. Let me stop this and see if this helps. Ah, there we go. Sometimes if you have an ad blocker, it won't show you the video on the screen. It thinks it's an advertisement. So there we go.
Need cash for debt consolidation?
Stop. Hate these friggin' ads.
We're learning more about a man accused of shooting and killing his wife at an apartment complex on the northwest side.
San Antonio police identified him as 44-year-old Carlos Portillo. He is charged with murder in the case. Police say the trouble started at 7 o'clock in the morning when they found a man covered in blood and acting erratically and screaming.
The suspect told police the blood belonged to his wife, who police say they found dead in an apartment. This was near Vance Jackson Road in Warsbach. Police also found a gun in the area, which they believe could be the weapon used in the woman's death. The motive for the shooting is unknown at this time.
Keep up to date with all of San Antonio's top news, weather, and so much more by clicking the like and subscribe buttons below. And once again, thanks for watching KSAT.
It really didn't want to be my friend. It just wants to play advertisements. No wonder my ad blocker thought it was an ad blocking thing. Kathy Lynch. Oh, stop it. Yeah, you go away, and I'm gonna change to this one with this guy. No wonder my ad blocker thought it was an advertisement. Kathy says, what about the tower survivor who landed in a sitting position? I don't know about that one. That would have been a really good one, though. I didn't hear that one. This is a very random comment. Wu says, I've actually found stainless steel straws and bamboo straws. What, like people got murdered by them, or you found someone stabbed with a stainless steel straw? I'm so confused. Let's see. Oh, yes. Is that the one about the woman they can't find, and they don't know if she was in the towers or not. She was having some sort of an affair, and her husband's just like so confused. He doesn't understand what happened to her. Is it her husband or her family or something like that? I can't remember, but I know the story you're talking about. It's about this woman. They have her on a couple of videos walking around a couple of like stores or something, like just before 9/11, but they don't know actually what happened to her, but she never returned to her apartment. No one's ever seen her ever again, and they're not even 100% sure she was in 9/11. They don't have any proof that she was at the towers. They just know that she was at least a few blocks away from it, but they're not sure. Oh, no, maybe we're thinking about different ones. There's a lady that they can't find for 9/11. I think we're thinking about different people. Well, that's what they were wondering, I think. In the one that this documentary I saw about this woman, yeah, I think they thought maybe she faked her own death to go to, like, I don't know, with a new lover or something. Chino Moore says, I pay for YouTube ads to be removed. I have a good ad blocker, but sometimes I have to turn it off and on to get videos for you guys. I don't get ads on YouTube. Let's talk about this. Yeah, we might be talking about. Okay. I think we're talking about two different ones. Yeah, they did actually wonder if that's what happened to her, that she faked her own death and ran away with a man or something. Oh, I don't know that one. Sorry, my camera dropped out. Yeah, I don't know. No, this woman made outrageous claims about her rescue. I don't know that one, but I'll have to look it up. Marlene Clausen said there are people who are still not found from the 1977 Jonestown flood. Really? People who got swept away and they just never found a body or something? It's very sad. I will tell if we find out more about this fellow, Mr. Carlos Portillo, 44, I will let you know, but there is so few articles about him, but I want to know who his wife was and what happened to her and why he shot her. Here, I can show you this.
A 44-year-old man has been booked for murder. The victim, his wife. The suspect, who police aren't naming right now, was seen walking on the sidewalk this morning, covered in blood, outside the Oak Creek Apartments. This is on the northwest side off Vance Jackson Road. Ken's 5 reporter Zach Briggs joins us live with what the suspect told police. Zach?
Well, police say the man was acting erratically and screaming while walking here on the sidewalk. Authorities say he told officers that the blood on him belonged to his wife, who was already dead inside this first floor apartment unit. Now, the first call came in around 7 a.m. about reports of a man who was seen walking on the sidewalk, acting in a so-called bizarre way, according to police. SAPD Sergeant Stephen Bratina said one caller thought the man may have been considering whether or not to jump in front of traffic. The man gave himself up without incident after several officers arrived. It was around the same time when officers also got word of a body inside one of the apartment units. They found a 51-year-old woman who had been shot to death on the first floor. One tenant told me off camera the couple just moved into the apartment complex over the weekend. I caught up with Myra Orta, who lives across the street from the Oak Creek Apartments. Orta says she didn't get a good look at the man walking on the sidewalk, but she heard all the commotion.
I did hear a sound that was like a gunshot, but then I said, well, maybe it's a firework. It did wake me up because it was just, I could tell that it was close to the street. I never peeked out, but he was using the F word and just screaming.
Now, police did find a gun on scene. Unknown why the husband allegedly shot and killed his wife. This remains an ongoing investigation. Live on the northwest side.
Those apartments look like those monthly by the rent type ones you guys have in America. We don't have them here in Australia, but I've seen them in a lot of other ways. They're quite interesting. They're almost like short stay apartments. You can rent them by the month or by 6 months or by 12 months or things like that. Pretty cool things. Too bad that didn't kill me. Says nobody heard gunshots. I know, in a small little apartment block like that, and no one heard a woman be killed by a gunshot. Interesting. I didn't see that one, but I wanted to show you the woman I was talking about. It's this. It's a disappearance of, I don't know how to pronounce her name, Snea Ann Phillip. And this is her poster. It's not a very good copy. Hold on. I have to fix this. Yeah. They're saying she was an Indian American physician who was last seen on September 10th, 2011 by a department store surveillance camera near Lower Manhattan. She may have returned to the building at some point that night or the next morning. Due to her close proximity to the World Trade Center and her medical training, Phillips' family believes she may have perished trying to help victims of the following day's terrorist attack. They literally they literally have no idea what happened to her. They don't know if she died in the attack. There is some suggestion that she may have been wanting to get away from her family. There's other ones saying that she may have met a man and faked her own death in the 9/11 attack. They just don't know where she is. They said 2 investigations were conducted, the first by Ron Lieberman, Philip's husband, and private investigator Ken Gallant, a former FBI agent, initially presumed her disappearance and possible death were unrelated to the attacks, but later concluded it was the most likely outcome. An investigation by the New York City Police Department began much later, delved into her life leading up to September 11, and found details of marital problems, job difficulties, and alcohol abuse, as well as a pending misdemeanor charge against her in the months before her disappearance. This led them to conclude it was just as likely that she had met a different fate, though the report's author testified later that he believed Philip probably died in the attacks. It's crazy. There was a really interesting documentary about this if you've never watched it. Hopefully it's on this page somewhere. Hold on. It's not. Hold on. I'll have to search her name. I think it was on the series of Missing. Is that probably what it was? Missing, the mystery of, Dr. Anne Phillip. Yeah, Snea or Schnee. I can't pronounce that name. But yeah, there was a documentary produced and it was so interesting. Trying to see if there's a... Hold on, I'm just trying to see if I can get you a link. There is a link here. I don't know what... No, I can't find it, but there, if you Google it, you'll be able to find one about her. Oh, that's good. Glad to hear it, Sherry. I'm glad to hear it. Just trying to see if anyone knows this story or not. You guys are all talking about napkins. Diane Marie says, after my divorce, I moved. No more cold for me. I've lived across the US. You live in California now, right? 70 degrees most of the year. You're doing all right for warmth. Yeah, it's good news about Sherry. I'm glad her eye surgery went well. Yeah. I wish I had the documentary that I watched on this because you all would love it if you have not seen it. I was gripped to my seat. I was like, are they going to tell us what happened to her? But they sort of don't. They sort of leave it open-ended and they sort of say, like, you should come to your own conclusions based on the evidence. I don't know. I'm not sure what happened to her. I would really love to know, though. What do you guys think? Do you think that she probably just perished in the 9/11 World Trade Center attacks? She was a physician. Her family thinks she ran down there after seeing the attacks and helped people and possibly ran into one of the buildings and was killed when it collapsed. But apparently she's been... When was she declared legally dead? It says they declared her legally dead from September 11, 2001, age 31. But what year was she actually declared deceased? Let's have a look. So it says on January 31st, 2008, a 5-judge panel reversed Judge Roth's decision, finding the simplest explanation to be the most likely, that Philip died trying to help people at the World Trade Center. Judge Dave Sachs, writing for the other 3 majority judges, stated, "This is a disturbing case. He observed that the central problem was the lack of direct evidence putting Philip at the site of the attack. However, he said while New York City applied the clear and conceiving standard set forth in the statute, even assuming that the clear and conceiving standard is applicable, the standard does not require an absolute certainty. It merely requires that the evidence make the conclusion highly probable, even without direct, irrefutable proof establishing that her route that morning took her past the World Trade Center at the time of the attack. The evidence shows it to be highly probable that she died that morning and at the site, whereas only the rankest speculation leads to any other conclusion. But then you have other people saying they don't believe she ever went there. So a real mystery. Maybe they'll keep DNA. I know that they keep DNA testing bone fragments that they found in the towers. Like they keep going through. I think have they finished that yet? But they were going through all the rubble at one point trying to find human remains, and they kept trying to DNA test it against samples that they had on file for missing people. Maybe they will be able to DNA connect her at some point to some remains found in the rubble, but I'm not sure if they finished that yet. Hi, Sprinkle Donut. Hey, how are you? Sprinkle Donut says, I saw that documentary. It was really good. I know, it was probably one of the best documentaries I've seen in a number of years. They are opening the case of Holly Bobo, the nursing student. Are they? Hold on. Hold on. That's very interesting. New development years after conviction in high profile. Oh, is she the woman that went missing after she was having an affair with another person and they never found her? Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong person. It says 7 years ago, justice came for Holly Bobo, a young nursing student who had been murdered. A jury convicted Zach Adams after a high-profile trial thanks to testimony from co-defendant Jason Autry, who cut a deal to testify. But now, in a stunning twist all these years later, Autry is recanting his testimony, which could reopen the case. There was very little physical evidence in this case, and most agree Zach Adams would never have been convicted without the damning testimony of Jason Autry. For those unfamiliar, Holly Bobo disappeared from her Decatur home in 2011. 6 years later, Zach Adams stood trial for the murder. Some of Bobo's remains were recovered, but there was no DNA evidence linking Adams to the crime. No, this is not the one I'm thinking of, but this is a good one. It says Autry's testimony was key to convicting Adams as the killer. At trial, Autry admitted to helping Adams dispose of Bobo's body. He said, I grabbed the upper torso of Miss Bobo. Zach left the tailgate down. I brought the torso to the tailgate where he grabbed the legs. Autry only served 8 years for conspiracy. But what he said at trial was very different from what he told this reporter in a jailhouse interview before trial. He said, No, sir, right hand before God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. I didn't bother that girl in no form or no fashion. He said, Did you know who did? He said, No, sir. And now, 7 years later, News Channel 5 has learned Autry is recanting his testimony. That revelation is now part of Adams' current appeal, and in a letter to Autry sent to me from jail, he writes, Look in the rearview mirror, and today I wish I would never have took the stand, and I fully understand that Mr. Adams has his case appealed, and if connection is overturned, I will not be back in court to testify. Sounds very convoluted. So what to believe with Jason Autry? I don't want to speculate and make a rumor of what happened to the girl. He said, I did not kidnap or sexually assault her, but I lied and said I had no involvement. So what does this all mean? A hearing will now be held in the court to decide whether Autry recanting merits a new trial. Zach Adams is currently serving a life sentence. Jason Autry is in federal custody doing time on guns charges unrelated to the case. This is not the one I'm thinking of. Let's see what this says. Probably pronounces the name better than me.
7 years ago, justice came for Holly Bobo, a young nursing student out of West Tennessee who'd been murdered. A jury convicted Zach Adams after the high-profile trial, and it was thanks mostly to testimony from co-defendant Jason Autry, who had cut a deal to testify.
But now, in a stunning twist, all these years later, Nick Barris has learned Autry is recanting his testimony, which could reopen the case.
What you have to understand is there was very little physical evidence in this case, and most agree Zach Adams never would have been convicted without damning testimony from his friend and co-defendant, Jason Autry. For those unfamiliar, Holly Bobo disappeared from her Decatur County home in 2011. 6 years later, Zach Adams stood trial for murder. Some of Bobo's remains were recovered, but there was no DNA evidence linking Adams to the crime. So, Autry's testimony was key to convicting Adams as the killer. At trial, Autry admitted to helping Adams dispose of Bobo's body.
I grabbed the upper torso of Miss Bobo. Zach come around, let the tailgate down. I brought the upper torso to the end of the tailgate.
Autry, who cut a deal, served only 8 years for conspiracy. But what he said at trial was very different from what he told this reporter in a jailhouse interview before the trial. Do you know who did?
No, sir.
And now, 7 years later, News Channel 5 has learned Autry is recanting all of his testimony. That revelation is now part of Adams' current appeal. And in a letter Autry sent to me from jail, he writes, "Look in the rearview mirror, and today I wish I would have never took the stand. And I fully understand that Mr. Adams has his case appealed. And if his conviction is overturned, I will not be back in court to testify." So, what to believe with Jason Autry?
Honestly, I don't want to speculate and make a rumor of what happened to the girl. I did not kidnap, I did not rape, and I did not kill Miss Bobo. And I did not. But I lied and said that I didn't have no details to it.
So what does this all mean? Well, there will be a hearing now in the court of record to decide whether or not Autry recanting his testimony actually merits a new trial. More to come. Nick Barris, News Channel 5.
There should be laws or rules for people who do stuff like that, trying to take away or trying to mess with the court system like that, and like several years later trying to, recant and all this. Kathy, yeah, Decatur. I don't know why I couldn't pronounce that. I've heard that word a million times. That's not the case I was thinking of. When I got all excited, I thought it was this case. The case of Heather Elvis. This is the one I thought it was for. I don't know why, but this is one of the most interesting cases that I've ever come across, and I wish we all knew what happened to Heather. I don't know if people know this particular case, but Heather Elvis, something hinky definitely happened there with her case. I'm trying to see if there's been any news on Heather's case, but it looks like there was something in June of last year. Sydney Tammy Mora lose appeals to overturn convictions in Heather Elvis case. I think it was pretty obvious they killed her. There's a photo of the people that were convicted of her disappearance and murder. I don't think they ever found her body, did they? For Heather Elvis. I think they know she's dead. They just don't know where she is. She was having an affair with that guy, I think. And the wife, this lady here, was like super jealous that her husband was getting it on with this really beautiful young woman. Yeah. I did. I evicted her. She's over in the other room. Cheating Wall says, I do too, Ping. I have not forgotten Heather Elvis. If I'm correct in saying that they never found her body, it's still very sad that she's never been found. Oh, I never heard of this case, the other one. No, I'd never heard of the Holly Bobo case either. Yes, she's been gone. Yeah, I know. I wish there was a better resolution, but at least someone was convicted of her murder. There was another documentary on this case at some point too. I can't remember what it was called, but it was really good at spelling out the evidence of her. What was it called? Hold on, I'll see if I can find it. Let's see. Disappeared in the Darkness, an ID mystery. I think that's the right one. Disappeared in the Darkness. Hold on. All right, I think we're a few minutes from close for tonight. Give me 1 second. I'll just check all the links so I don't miss anyone for the night. Give me 1 second. Okay. That's it. That's it for tonight. We've run out of time. Go hang out with Trish and Insightful One for the rest of the night. As for me, I'll be back tomorrow night for another hour and a half live show at 9 p.m. Eastern. Really appreciate everyone who subscribes to this channel and comes hangs out every night. And to the lovely people who support the channel, send in donations and things like that. You guys are very kind. Really helps out, keeps it going, and it's I feel very privileged to have those type of people supporting the channel. So until then, I don't want to make you guys late. So until then, I'll see you tomorrow night. We'll have more news, more everything, more breaking news. I really hope nothing happens with Iran and the US between now and tomorrow. I hope it kind of cools down. I don't think any of us want to see another war or something, or more people lose lives on any side. But that's it. Love you all. Thank you, Moonlight View, for coming in, dropping in tonight. I appreciate it. Until then, I'll see you all tomorrow night. Good night, everyone. Hey, hello to the replay crew.